Ready?
Hi, we are continuing our learning about the different loop statements in the C and Java language. Last time we talked about the for loop, if then else loop, and this one is another loop statement. It's called while. This is the syntax. While a condition, this is the block of code. You can write the statements here. While the condition is true, the iterations will be going on, the loop will be going on based on some condition. Loop through the code as long as the condition is true. For example, I define integer s equal to 100. The value of s is 100, variable s, while s is less than 110. So starting initial value is 100 when s is less than 110. So it's like 10 numbers in between. We want to print the value of s and then s plus plus. So the first time when s comes, s equal to 100, it's going to look at this print, it's going to print 100. Then we say plus 1, plus plus means plus 1. So it's going to loop around until s is less than 110. So it will be 101, 102, 103 until 109. This is the output you will get when you execute this program. This is one kind of while loop. There is a variation called variant of the while loop. The syntax is slightly different. You can look here, it's called do while. It's a variant of the while statement. So here what we say is, we define s variable equal to 100, do a block of code while this condition is true. Same condition, s less than 110. So whatever statements are here, like 10 statements, 1 statement, thousands of statements will be executed while this condition is true. Initial value, final value is 1 less than this one. If you put less than or equal to, then it will print 110. That's the difference. So output will be same like the before, 100, 101, 102, 103. These loop statements are used a lot in the C language and Java language, because instead of writing like 1,000 statements, you can put it in a loop, And in more complex projects, we'll be defining functions, where each functions will do certain things, and then we use that function at some part in the program. When it becomes a standard function, everyone can use it. That's called the C library of functions. In the coming videos, I'll talk about how a function is created, executed, used in a program, and I will give a list of some of the common functions we can use in everyday program. That makes the programmer life easier. Okay, next we move on to there are two important statements that are used inside the loops. The for loop, if then else, while loops, do loops, switch statement. Last time we discussed about the switch case, switch condition, case 1, 2, 3, you write a block of code. In all these loop statements, sometimes the programmer or the logic, it has to execute continuously, but some condition you don't want to execute some things, some numbers or some names. So to skip that part, we use these statements. To entirely skip out of a loop or skip only one part of the loop, one instance of the one iteration. Iteration means one loop, twice, thrice, like that. So let's discuss the break statement. This is used to break out of the code based on some condition, let's say. So jump from the switch statement, jump from the for loop, break statement is used. For example, you define integer n. There is a for loop. See, this is a for loop. Initial value I am assigning 20. While this is called the condition. When n is less than 20, n plus plus. See, in the last program we wrote like 4-5 lines, and C allows us using the ternary operator. We wrote in just one line. If n equal to 24, when there is 1, it's assignment, like yesterday I told in the video when we talked about the loop statements. When there is 2 equal, it means a condition. So when n equal to 24, we just say break and print. So what happens is, when it's 20, it's coming, and then 21, it's looping through. When it's 24, I'm saying there is no need to print, so break, it's going to break. That's the output of this program. And similarly, the other statement is called continue statement. Continue is, instead of jumping out of the loop, you just want to skip one portion and then continue the remaining. Same example, I define integer m, and then for m, initial assignment is I'm giving 1000 integer. And this is the condition. When m less than 2000, keep doing this loop. M plus plus, increment by 1. A plus plus means increment by 1. So the first time it comes here, if m equal to 1200, it's not initially, it's 1000. So it's going to keep printing 1000 like this, all this. When it comes to 1199 and 1200 comes, since we put continue, it's going to continue, it's going to skip that, and then the loop goes on. This is the example of the break and continue statements. We'll see you all in the next video. Hi, today we will talk about the C language string functions. Strings and characters go together well. A string is actually an array of characters. So that's how it's stored in the string. It's very popularly used in all languages, especially C and Java are similar. Today we'll talk about how the string is actually stored, how we can use it in the programs, projects, codes. This is one example. Here I define a variable str1. See the square braces? Square braces means array definition, arrays. So character str1, the value is we are C programmers. That is the value stored here. And printf, I want to print percentage %s. Previously we saw for integers it's percentage %d for decimal. S is for string. C is for characters, P is for pointers. So str1 square brace. I want to print this string here. So when you execute this program using C compiler, this is the output. We are C programmers. Okay, the next part, another example is here. So I said this is an array, right? So how it's actually stored is you can see here. And these are called the index, like an address we discussed in the last video. So str1 of 0, of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this character W is stored on the first. And all arrays start from not from 1 but from 0. So an array of 10 means 0 to 9. So you can say 0, 1, 2 all the way till 9 and then it will increase. So this is how it's stored. WE, there's a space here. So space is actually a character. So there's a space. So A or E space until the last one is. So here we are telling C compiler to print the whole string, right? But what if I want to print only particular characters like W or these things? Then we specify here, I put example, str2, another array of strings. C is super, that's the string. So when you print here, see here I put C, not S. S means string. Here we want to print only the segment or each characters. So I'm saying give me the index 0 value, which is W. W is the first element of the array. So it prints characters of string since it's array of characters. And there is another example here. Here we talk about str2. I'm explaining here how it's actually stored here because there's different string, C is super. See the spaces? And I'm trying to print the 0 value. Now you would have got a good idea about the strings. Now I'll give more examples about the more string values. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, in the last video we talked about how to print the string, how to print the characters of the string. What if I want to change the string or change some part of the string and then print it, modifying the string? Here in this lesson we'll discuss about it. So changing the string index location. How to change it? You want to find the index and go to that index and then change the value like an assignment, replace the value. Third example, str3 is an array. Pointers are amazing. str3 of 0 equal to j. Here I am defining another one. So printf percentage %s str3 will print the actual string, pointers are amazing. But what happened was I replaced the value j for the 0. So the output will be for this, it will be 0, 1, 2 and all the way here till G. Amazing, the G last character. See the first one is P. But here what I did is I changed the first one to G. So all others remain the same, So it will print like 0, 1, 2 all the way G. Instead of P, it will print J because I replaced the first character. This is how you replace the string. And I can do the same thing using a for loop. We talked about a couple of videos ago, the loop statements, for, while, do, while. All the string operation can be used in all 4 for loops, while, do, while, switch statement, anywhere in the C program. It comes very handy, And for large projects, it's very common, like HR, you want to put the employee name as a string. is what is the position is working as a string, all are string values. The salary is number value, integers, So here I'll explain how the for loop we are using. Character u1 equal to university. Actually, that should be a square braces here. I missed that one out. Okay, int I. So for I equal to 0, less than 10, plus I. It's going to increment one value of I. So print of each element. So output will be u1 of 0 is u, n, I, v. So this is the 0 position, 1 position, 2. The same thing from previous we are accomplishing within a for loop. Instead of writing a lot of lines, again reducing the code, reducing the memory, making the program easier and faster for the computer to execute, And at the end of each array, C puts a null value at the end, internally. Sometimes we put externally, but C actually puts internally. So output is this one. The last element is Y. So here we discussed about how to modify the strings, part of the strings. We'll take a break and go to the next lesson.
Ready?
Hi. Last video we talked about how the string can be modified, some introduction about strings. In this video, we'll talk about some special characters, escape sequences, escape characters. Sometimes inside the string, you want to display like double quotes or a slash or single quotes. In the C syntax, to define a string and characters, you put within double quotes. But what inside the character string you want to display some double quotes. So the C compiler should not be confused, So we have to tell the C compiler that I want to use the double quotes inside the string, but use the same C syntax for compiling. So there are different types of escape sequences you can insert in the program. So that C will know, okay, oh, there is this thing, okay, then we have to display the double quotes. I'll show the examples. This is slash single. So result will be a single quote inside the string. Slash double quote, backslash, backslash. For example, character S1 array. So I'll start talking in array terms, now you all know all the terminology. So S1 is a character array. Value is best book. I can call best C book, but I want in the output like a double quotes, best double quote C book. How do I put it? So you have to write the program. You have to use the escape sequence from here. Slash double quotes means C will put this in double quotes. If you see the output of this, see here best, it puts double quotes. This should not be confused with this syntax. That's why we are putting the escape sequence. I hope you all understand. Another example is S2 is an array. I'm trying to explain this part now, how to put this in the output. Operators and double slash or C knows that I have to put in the output single slash. So operators and C 1 slash k. This is how to achieve in the C program how to put the sequences. These are called escape sequences. So when the compiler is, what is a compiler? It goes through each statements in the C program. So when it comes here, it says, oh, it's character, its name is S1, or it's a braces square, so it's an array of characters. First value, second value, and when it encounters this escape sequence, it knows that it has to put double quotes. It refers to that table inside the C. And what are the other three escape sequence? We use /n. Remember, when we print the integers, we put %d/n means print the number on the next line, not like a continuous. Because when you put 1000, that is 1000 is a number. But when I put 1, like 0 on the different lines, it has a whole different meaning, you know. Sometimes we have to use both ways, you know. So /n is called new line. It will add new line. /t is tab. Tab, you know, in computer you press tab, some spaces, 4 5 spaces, predefined. /0 is the null value I talked about. C language puts null value at the end of the array values. The last one, it actually puts the null value. Sometimes we have to explicitly put the null value in the programs for proper execution without errors. This is called single quote, this is double quote, this is the backslash. Here we learned about how to use special characters inside the strings and print them. Now we'll move on to C is a library of functions, thousands of functions we can use. And for doing the string calculations, manipulations, copying, instead of you or me writing the code, C already has a predefined functions we can use. So I just use the name of the function and what I want to do instead of me writing all the code, you know. So when the compiler comes to the program, when it finds the name of the function, it replaces the code automatically from its compiler. So I'm going to explain that more. Let's move on to the next one. These are the C language string functions. These are the functions related to the string manipulation, C library of functions. First is called strLength. It finds the length of the string S. And strcat is string concatenation. Concatenation means merging and adding two strings S1, S2. strcpy is string copy from one string to another. Copy S2 to S1. String compare, you can compare these two strings S1, S2 and return value if both strings are same, 0, or some non-negative or negative value if the values of S1, S2 are not same. And there is a size of operator which will give the memory size in bytes, whatever you put in here. So these are some available functions. Instead of you or me writing the program, they already have the function, but you have to know where to use it, how to use it for your project. And on the next lesson, I'll talk about some directives. A directive is a set of code, same like the library of functions. It's called a header file. It will be at the topmost of every program. And the header file will have definitions for all these: length, concatenation, copy. It will have one line for each of these in this file, string.h is a predefined file. C language provides us automatically this file. So you just have to say in the program #include and then this file. #include string.h means it will, from the library, it will retrieve all the values for this and insert in the program. Okay, let's start here. Character C5 is an array, it has value memory. So I say printf %d. Remember the d I talked about, the escape sequence for decimals. String length of C5. The output will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. This is the output. On here I am showing the output. This is the actual program. Another example. C6 is another string array. Values management. How many values are there? What is the length of the string? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters. Okay. I'm using the, previously we used strlen function. So here strcat. So C language will go and find how to execute this one in this file. What to do, how to do it. C5, C6. What is C5? I'm putting here printf %C5. C5 is memory management. I do a concatenation. See, C5 is memory, right? C6 is management. So So I'm doing join those two strings, C5, so memory management. It added C6 to C5, concatenation. The next function is, for example, I define C7 equal to subscript. C8 is an array, no values, null values. C9 is null values. So I'm using the third function, strcpy means copy. I'm saying copy C7 to C8. Okay, let's see printf percentage C8. So what is C8 is empty. So it should print an empty string here. But it printed C7 because previous statement I said copy C7 to C8 and then print C8. So C8 is subscript. I hope you understand. It replaced the empty string with the actual value. And the next function is the string compare. Sometimes you want to compare two strings and give some value. This will be very helpful in the HR program. If you want to compare two names and then based on that you have to make a decision using if then else statements, Okay, if it is John, you have to do some execute code. If it is David, execute some code like that, Susie. So we use that function, string compare. You have to see here, you see when it's displaying the value for the previous one C, it's giving the string name, right? Memory management C. But here we have to use the D because it returns a number. If the two strings are equal, it returns 0. If two strings are not equal, it gives some negative number, probably 4, 5 negative, non-zero. So this is the syntax, str compare of C8 and C9. C8 is subscript, C9 is empty. So one is empty, one is a string, they are not equal. So the output, what is the C9? Okay, C9 is empty, C8 is empty. So both are empty strings, it displays 0. But here C6 is what? Management. C7 is what? Subscript. Both are not equal. So it's displaying a non-zero value. So here we explained about all the string functions available for us which we can execute in the code. Next lessons I'll talk about the directives because we will be using a lot of hash include statements, compiler directives. Till now we discussed about data types, and then we moved on to loop statements, now string functions. Now we are actually ready to write a simple good program, at an easy level. And the last thing is knowing about all the directives. I'll cover in the next video, and after that we'll start writing some programs. I'll give a problem and I'll tell you how to start writing an algorithm, flowchart, and then actual C program, and how to debug this. Debugging is another thing where you write a program and when you try to execute with the C compiler, it will give errors. Then it's expected, so you go line by line, the compiler will stop and you can change and see what the value is. I'll explain one long video about how to debug the code. It's very important. Nowadays C is very flexible with the current right now. You can find the errors easily and fix it. Okay, so long. We'll continue in the next video. Thank you.